Los Angeles is a beautiful city, home to around 4 million people. But can 45,000 of these people call it home when they are homeless? The rising cost of living and housing is an issue that has been plaguing Los Angeles and its residents. Many citizens are unable to afford rent and are forced to take on multiple jobs or move to ex urban areas. This leads to many people becoming homeless either through eviction or natural disasters, both of which devastating events that can be hard to recover from. However, there is still hope due to organizations such as the Los Angeles Housing Department, which is resolving WUIs, cost of living, chronically unsheltered, and homeless shelters to address housing and cost of living in Los Angeles. There's no doubt that the homeless population has increased over the years, as seen in this video from our 50 states.
The streets of Los Angeles, once symbols of glamour and opportunity, have now become a grim testament to the growing homelessness crisis gripping the city. The American dream, once a symbol of endless possibility, is slipping further out of reach for thousands of residents. In 2025, homelessness in Los Angeles surged by an alarming 35%, bringing the total to 195,000 individuals, a staggering 59% increase since 2013. This crisis is no longer an invisible issue confined to certain areas. It has become a defining characteristic of the city itself. Walking through the streets of Los Angeles, one cannot...
In the article, Relational Geographies of Urban Unsustainability, the Entanglement of California's Housing Crisis with WUI Growth and Climate Change by Greenberg et al., explains that due to the increasing costs of coastal cities, such as Los Angeles, and the lack of affordable housing, new houses are built in ex-urban areas called wildland-urban interface, a problem which is being addressed by the Los Angeles Housing Department. According to Greenberg, when prices of rent, housing, and living expenses increase, citizens have to make decisions with their income. For example, in this quote here, Greenberg states that at the state minimum wage of $15 an hour, Californians would have to work 4 jobs to afford the average rent for a 2-bedroom apartment. A common solution to this problem is moving into less expensive areas in WUIs. However, as seen in the past, WUI housing often has an increased probability of natural disasters such as forest fires and flooding. When these disasters occur, people lose their houses and have to rely on organizations such as the Los Angeles Housing Department for things such as wildfire recovery services. An article from Gillich and Boardman titled Wildcat Imaginaries From Abolition University to University Abolition argues that the problem of cost of living is amplified for young adults in college or fields of work with lower incomes, such as educational jobs. Thankfully, the Los Angeles Housing Department also has resources for these people. According to Gillich and Boardman, those students are forced to work more hours to afford the increasing cost of living, which takes away from their time as students. They also have to deal with debts such as student loans, rent, and mortgages. Due to the lack of career and jobs available, students have to take on more part-time jobs and live frugally to save enough money to afford housing. This problem is being addressed by Los Angeles Housing Department, which supports low-income buyers with low-income purchase assistance. The article Geospatial Analysis of Associations Among Mental Health Need, Housing Need, and Involuntary Psychiatric Hospitalizations of People Experiencing Homelessness in Los Angeles County by Grotz et al. Demonstrates that the chronically underhoused in Los Angeles struggle with finding a permanent shelter and are victims of the abusive housing system, which the Los Angeles Housing Department prevents. After the price of rent increases and lower income individuals miss payments, they are at risk of eviction and losing their forms of shelter. According to Grotz et al., there is an influx of underhoused individuals in urban areas who are unable to get by and suffer from mental and physical injuries. These people are involuntarily put in institutions such as hospitals and are charged for services and care. The Los Angeles Housing Department faces the problem of tenants being unlawfully or unfairly evicted, supporting these people in staying housed and preventing evictions or loss of homes from unnatural causes or abusive landlords. Giammarino et al. In Planning for and Against Vehicular Homelessness describes how many underhoused individuals rely on vehicles and homeless shelters for protection and a place to stay, which is being provided by the Los Angeles Homelessness Services Authority. Homeless shelters exist to support those in need of housing and a temporary place to stay. However, according to Gia Marino, this isn't very effective as they are often overcrowded, lacking resources, and do not provide further support beyond just a place to stay. They also tend to have a higher risk of crimes and diseases spreading compared to more reliable housing. The issue of chronically underhoused individuals unable to find housing is addressed by the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority. They provide homeless families, individuals, and elderly with safer options for housing and supply them with essentials for life. Now that we understand the problem regarding the rising cost of living and housing in Los Angeles, what are some ways we could prevent this? The Los Angeles Housing Department supports those suffering from wildfires or other natural disasters through the LA Wildfire Recovery Service. According to the Los Angeles Housing Department website, the LA Wildfire Recovery Resource works by protecting tenants from rent price gouging, preventing landlords from exploiting future rent, and providing temporary mobile homes for those in need. The Los Angeles Housing Department resolves the issue of houses in WUIs by providing different options of affordable housing and places for people to stay without having to relocate to different areas. People won't have to pay large expenses for moving and transporting all their belongings. The Los Angeles Housing Department also supports those struggling to afford purchases of homes and rent by providing purchasing assistance through the Low Income Purchase Assistance Program. According to the Los Angeles Housing Department, the Low Income Purchase Assistance Program helps resolve the issue of cost of living by assisting first-time homebuyers to afford their households through loans for down payment, closing costs, and acquisition of houses. The purchase assistance provides a low-risk loan with no interest, where the purchaser can then spend their time and income paying off other debts and allocating their income to essentials in life. The Los Angeles Housing Department helps tenants avoid eviction and losing housing through the Stay Housed LA program. According to the Los Angeles Housing Department, Stay Housed LA helps prevent increases in chronically underhoused by helping tenants understand their rights and protect them in court to avoid unethical or unlawful evictions and rent increases. The Los Angeles Housing Department also provides lower rent apartments and cheaper communities where people can connect with each other and support one another instead of worrying about abusive landlords and unfair payments. In the following video clip, we can see the impact of real people who are suffering from the housing crisis. This formerly homeless individual shares their experience with the Los Angeles Housing Department and lower cost renting.
Housing first. You go in a house. We have social workers here. We have, this afternoon they made pumpkins for Halloween. We have barbecues. We have volunteers come in once a month. That's their thing. They like to feed people. They come in and they feed us. We have a community dinner. These things are imperative with being unhappy. I had a miserable life up to moving into this apartment, really. But I have a friend here who I was in the shelter with. We shared a room. We're best friends.
The Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority provides chronically underhoused individuals housing through Family Solution Centers. According to the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority website, homeless individuals, especially those with families, can find temporary shelter through Family Solution Centers. They are accessible homes that provide meals, showers, and beds for those in need. These shelters are much safer compared to typical homeless shelters and are catered towards protecting and supporting families who may suffer from a lack of housing. These families then have opportunities to start saving money and getting their lives back on track in the future. Los Angeles is one of the most popular places to live in California. However, due to problems such as the cost of living and lack of housing, many people will be unable to experience it. The rising cost of living and lack of housing are constant problems that will only be solved with the help of organizations such as the Los Angeles Housing Department and the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority. Without public services such as these organizations, only those fortunate enough would be able to afford to live in cities such as Los Angeles. This would result in further discrimination of low income and higher income individuals. Through the resources and services from the Los Angeles Housing Department and Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, Los Angeles is becoming much more inclusive and united as a city and proves that if we work together as a community, we can all succeed together. As these organizations continue to improve and expand, more people will have access to these resources and will be able to live their lives as normal people instead of being labeled as homeless and discriminated against by society. As the video comes to an end, I urge all of you to continue researching the impact of rising cost of living and housing in the United States. Only by educating ourselves and others will we be truly able to make an impact and change in the world.